Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment. Today is Sunday, August 20th, and the Yankees were trying to avoid a sweep at the hands of the Boston Red Sox and an 8th consecutive loss. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Well, we didn't do a show yesterday, so if you missed the game, Yankees got crushed with their ace, Garrett Cole, on the mound and got just 2 hits, one of them being a Judge home run, and lost their 7th straight game. Today, we actually got a pretty good ball game. Yankees actually showed some fight today. Unfortunately, another tough loss.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You'd call it a heartbreaking loss, but let's be honest with each other. The more we lose now, the better chance we have at getting some real changes made in the offseason. At this point in the year, with the Yankees as bad as they are, I don't even really care that much about wins and losses, to be honest. If you miss the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you miss by 1 game or if you miss by 20 games. There's draft implications for your record, but that's another discussion. But if you miss the playoffs, season's over, right? You don't get to even go to the dance. And with the expanded playoffs, it's even worse. So at this point, what I'm more focused on is how do the young guys do? How do players react? Who still gets pissed off when the team is losing? How does the management respond? How does Aaron Boone respond? Aaron Boone looks like a beaten man. Today, he said that he sat down with Hal Steinbrenner and with Brian Cashman to discuss the future of the organization. To me, that sounds a lot like, hey, finish out the season, and then we're going to replace you. That's kind of what that sounds like to me. He said they talked about prospects who they could call up and the different types of approaches they could take with the roster. To me, that also feels like a conversation that should have been had before the trade deadline, when you had a chance to address some of these issues. And maybe they did have that conversation, but they elected to do nothing about it. And here we are. 8 straight losses for the New York Yankees. No! I spent the morning working on the Post-mortem video. That's going to drop as soon as the Yankees get eliminated. It comes out every year. It's kind of a longer piece. It's more highly produced. And, this year it's going to be more of a comedy piece, honestly. But, unfortunately, we do it every year, and it's becoming a tradition, and I would much rather do a parade reaction instead, but I think it might be a while. Everson Pereira hit a couple of home runs yesterday. Oswald Peraza's been playing well. Austin Wells hit a home run yesterday, hit another home run today. Jason Dominguez has been absolutely tearing it up at Double-A over the last couple of months. At this point, just let the kids play. I mean, what do you have to lose? You're losing every day with your standard team. Inject some energy. Inject some youth. Maybe we'll get the next crop of baby bombers, and maybe they'll be a team that can actually win. But even the caveat of calling up the young players comes with uncertainty, right? I mean, are they going to play, or are they going to sit the bench? Peraza was great last September, but never really got a real chance this year. And when he did play, he didn't perform. There's an old aphorism in baseball. Don't believe anything that you see in March, and don't believe anything you see in September. Last year, Peraza played great in September. This March, Jason Dominguez went crazy in spring training. I'm left wishing the Yankees had given these guys a chance when it actually mattered, and maybe their energy would have rubbed off and they could have played against some teams that, were trying to win, where it could have meant something, a challenge. But instead, they're probably going to get called up for meaningless games when the Yankees are already out of it and playing other teams that are out of it, and it's essentially more spring training. Today was a day of ups and downs. Glaber had some ups and downs. Volpe had some ups and downs. And the Yankees, as a whole, had some ups and downs. Andy says, send Judge home so he can heal and play the kids. I agree. Devers put the Yankees in an early hole again with a second deck home run. Seems like every day the Yankees are playing from behind. And that's what bad teams do. We're not used to seeing it because we're not used to watching horrible teams, but this is what a horrible team looks like. We're not even mediocre. We're bad now. We're under 500. 60 and 64. And I don't know how we're going to watch another, 40 or so games at this rate. Unreal. Yankees were able to bounce back today. Kyle Higashioka, responsible for the first bounce back instance. 8th home run of the season in the 3rd inning. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Higgy and with the catcher position as a whole next year. They got Austin Wells swinging the bat well. You hear people outside the organization say that he's not a good catcher. He's only thrown out 13% of runners this year, and that's in the minor leagues. But the Yankees and Tanner Swanson seem to think he's a great catcher, but they don't play him in the major leagues. So, again, talking out of the side of their mouth, you got Jose Trevino, won the Platinum Glove last year, but did not hit much last year or this year. Yankees might be inclined to give him another shot. There's an unwritten rule in baseball that you don't lose your job because of an injury. But if the Yankees really want to find offense somewhere, catcher could be a spot where they go internally for a left-handed power bat. Even if he's not a huge power bat right out of the gate, something you can build on. I don't think the Yankees should expect to win next year. I think you should look at next year as a team to line yourself up. And of course, you're wasting another year of Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole when you do that. Try and win with the young guys. Try and sneak into the playoffs and then hope that Cole and Judge can, maybe get you somewhere. We'll see. Yankees got a leadoff double from Gleyber Torres in the bottom of the 4th. Just missed an opposite field home run by about an inch. Did not score because the Yankees couldn't drive him in. Surprise, surprise. Ended up being a big point in the game. Yankees got a defensive play from Gleyber Torres in the 5th inning. He made a leaping catch. And then he started a double play ball, ground ball to second, and he flipped to short, or he flipped to Volpe, who was playing short at second, and kind of threw it away. I mean, it was a really weak and, off the bag kind of flip. And that caused Volpe to kind of field it off balance. Volpe ended up throwing it away. Volpe got charged with the error that allowed a run to score, but really that play started with Gleyber. So, good defense, bad defense. And then, home run, strikeout in a key spot. I mean, it's, tough day. Volpe did have a good day. We'll get to that in a minute. Clark Schmidt, once again, pitched pretty well. He went 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts. Once again, fails to get through the 6th inning. That's been a problem for him all year. Look, I've got him penciled in as the number 5 starter. Did they give Gleyber the error? I thought they let me just look at the box score. Somebody said they gave the error to Gleyber. No, it's on Volpe. It started with Gleyber. I agree. But it was awarded to Volpe, his 11th error of the year. Anyway, Clark Schmidt, I got him penciled in as the number 5 starter next season. He's had to pitch as the number 2 guy this year. I think he's made the 2nd most starts. He's had a lot of really good starts. Can't get deep into the game, but he's the perfect number 5 guy, in my opinion. Now you just got to fill in around him. We got Rodon coming back Tuesday. It's important for him to have some good starts going down the stretch. I don't know if he's ever going to be the guy he was the last couple of years. If he was healthy coming into this year, this would have been his probably best year because as a pitcher, you get worse as you get older. But maybe he has a good year next year. We'll see. With the chronic back issue, there's just no way to prepare for that. So, I'm not optimistic. Yankees got some work to do. Got a home run from Gleyber Torres in the 6th inning, 19th of the year, 50th RBI. I'm interested in hearing the chat's thoughts on what you would do with Gleyber Torres. Do you bring him back? I mean, he's been one of the most consistent hitters all season with the Yankees. He doesn't get hurt very often, which is very important because the Yankees have a ton of injuries. But the longer he plays, the higher his price tag gets. He's allergic to turning double plays at second base. The base running mistakes are just aplenty and not much of a baseball IQ. And I think if you're doing a full reset of the roster, you have to consider moving him for prospects. Boston took a 3-run lead in the 7th. Justin Turner with a big 3-run home run off of Mike King, hanging slider that made it 5-2. At that point, I thought the game was over. I hung my head in shame and thought we were done. But then Anthony Volpe answered back in the clutch. Big 3-run home run, 17th of the year. That tied Gleyber Torres with 50 RBIs. He's arguably hit more clutch home runs than anybody this season. And the fact that he tied Gleyber Torres in RBIs was impressive. What's not impressive is that it's August 20th, and you've got 2 guys on the roster with 50 RBIs. Yankees were the last team to have somebody with 50 RBIs. When I heard that stat, I couldn't believe it. Bottom 8, IKF led off the inning with a base hit to right field, and then Volpe ripped another clutch hit to left field. IKF was running on the play, tried to go home. Throw beat him. It looked to me like he got under the tag. Home plate umpire agreed, called him safe, but then the Red Sox challenged the call. They overturned the play. I completely disagree with it. I didn't think there was in any way enough evidence to overturn that call. Again, throw beat him. I get it. But it looked like to me that he got under the call, or under the tag. Very reminiscent of the Jackie Robinson play where he stole home against the Yankees in the World Series. Yogi Berra said for the rest of his life that, he tagged him out. There's people who've looked at it frame by frame. I don't know if you've seen it. I just watched the recent movie. It's called It Ain't Over. It's about Yogi Berra documentary. Well worth a watch, and they get into that in detail. Top 9, Red Sox were all over Clay Holmes. Once again, he has really fallen apart his last few appearances. And Justin Turner gave the Red Sox a 6-5 lead with a double into the corner. Bottom 9, Greg Allen with a big at-bat. He fought and battled, ended up hitting one off the top of the wall. Just missed a game-tying home run.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Hit the very top of the wall. DJ LeMahieu got hit by a pitch to put the winning run on first base for Aaron Judge with nobody out, but Judge struck out, really bad at bat. Gleyber Torres struck out, swung through some fastballs, and that set things up for Ben Rortvedt, who was getting his first at bat of the game and who came in hitting .098. And after that at bat, he's hitting .095 because he flied out to end the game, and the Yankees lose again.
I'm a loser.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Pete disagrees. He dissents with me. He says that his foot never made it to the plate. I didn't see that. It looked to me like he got it in there. Hey, agree to disagree. I mean, obviously the replay people agree with you, but Israel says Holmes hates Sundays. I'll tell you what Holmes hates, and that's pressure. I made a tweet yesterday where I outlined all the different things that the Yankees need this offseason, and one of them is a real closer. I did say that some of these things can be had internally. I do think there are some guys with that mentality who could close. I think Ian Hamilton could be a potential closer. He's got that kind of stuff. He's got a 1.72 ERA. Got power stuff. Good fastball, good slider, the slambio, and he seems like he's mentally the type of guy. Holmes just seems very diffident out there. Like if things start to go wrong, he gets unsure of himself. I don't know. Beat Ute says, will the Yankees make the postseason? I don't think so, my friend. I don't think so. Luke says, we are worse than the Royals and Athletics. We're pretty bad. Pretty bad. Sam G says they need a real everything. They need some left-handed hitters. Look, there's options internally. I wanted to see what Pereira could give you a little bit before now. He's tearing it up at AAA. But again, another right-handed hitter. I think somehow, some way, you got to get DJ LeMahieu and Giancarlo Stanton off the team. I know that Giancarlo is the least likely of those because he's got so much money and he cannot run. Can't play the field. Can't run the bases. Gets hurt every year. But if somebody's willing, and he's willing to waive his no-trade clause, somebody's willing to take him for a couple of $1 million, the Yankees could eat a bunch of it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's fantasy land, but let a guy dream. We don't have much else right now. DJ LeMahieu obviously done. He was 0 for 4 today, hitting 240. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score. Box score brought to you by Game Time. NYY Recaps is sponsored by Game Time, the fastest growing ticket app in the world. Download the Game Time app to your phone or other smart device. Visit gametime.co to get the last minute ticket deals to all your favorite types of events. Baseball, other sports, concerts, theater, comedy, you name it, you can find it on Game Time. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your purchase. Game Time, lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. And guys, full endorsement here. They are really tremendous. So, looking at this box score, Yankees did get 8 hits today. That's 6 more than they had yesterday. That's about 5 more than they usually get. DJ 0 for 4, Judge 0 for 4. Torres with a multi-hit game. He's hitting 267, 775 OPS. My brother just texted me, says, fire everybody at this point. Can't get any worse than this, right? I mean, I wish you could fire some guys, but I don't think it's going to happen. Bowers 0 for 2 today. IKF 1 for 4. IKF is a nice little backup. Like, he's a good, utility guy. He should not be playing every day. He's just not that kind of offensive player. McKinney should not be playing every day. He had a nice little run when he first came up. 0 for 3 today, hitting 227. Bowers hitting 208. Again, these guys should not be wearing the pinstripes. I credit Cashman for trying to get more left-handed. But the time to do that was Harper, was Olsen, was Freeman, was Seager. Not these has-beens or never-would-be's, as my dad likes to say. Volpe 2 for 4. He's still hitting 217, but the OPS coming up, 691, 3 RBIs. Schmidt, 5 2/3, 4.68 ERA now. Mike King hit hard today. Loizaga with another scoreless inning. He's got a 1.04 ERA. I would say Loizaga to be your closer, but it worries me pitching him every single day. Think he would break down. So, anyway. Lori says Stanton will have to have surgery and then insurance will have to pay. But it still goes, even if that happens, it still goes towards our luxury tax threshold. Victor Epic Warrior says they hit too many solo home runs. They're allergic to batting 300 and hitting with runners in scoring position. Red Sox have 7 players with an 800 OPS. Should they bring back Sean Casey? That's part of my post-mortem. You'll have to tune in for that. I get into that a little bit about whether or not I think he'll be back. I think ultimately it's going to come down to whether or not Aaron Boone comes back. And I personally would not bring back Aaron Boone. I've learned to stop thinking along the lines of what Cashman will or won't do, because Cashman doesn't think rationally and doesn't think about these things the way that we do. So, would not surprise me if Aaron Boone comes back. Also, would not surprise me if Aaron Boone is gone. There's going to be some changes. There's going to be a sacrificial lamb. It's going to be more than just Josh Donaldson or Luis Severino. It's going to be a lot of guys who won't be back. Peb Metz says the Yankees need to follow the same playbook as the team from Queens. Bite the bullet and eat large sums of cash to move some of the players. Can't bank on these guys improving next season. 100% correct. But that's what the Yankees like to do. Home Team GTV says, oh my God, don't mention Matt Olson. And he's got the little angry emoji there. This channel has been around long enough that, I'm on record saying Matt Olson was the guy. He was built for Yankee Stadium. I thought he was on the way up. I thought his trajectory was like this as a player, and I was correct. I think he would have been perfect for the Yankees. But again, you would have had to trade Volpe. I don't think Volpe's ever going to have 43 home runs and 100-plus RBIs in August in his entire life. So, looking back on it, probably, considering how many shortstops you have and how many other shortstops were available, probably in retrospect should have made that move. Volpe and some others for Olsen, and then you sign a shortstop. That's the way I probably would have done it. David says, we missed our chance to truly bite the bullet. Yeah, we are more biting the pillow at this point. We lost any chance of improving this team at the trade deadline when Brian Cashman did nothing. We do have Rizzo coming back, but Rizzo is suffering from a concussion, and we saw what that did to Clint Frazier. He's never been the same. Never been the same. Alex Valerio says Peraza greater than Volpe with a question mark. I mean, you can't say that because, Volpe's at least done a little bit at the major league level. He's hit for some power. Peraza hasn't gotten the chance, I don't think. Samantha says, I think that Jeter being a GM is a pipe dream. I do think that he wants to be involved with baseball, but I don't know if he would go right to GM. I would love to see him involved as a front office personality, so a consultant, essentially. But I want more seasoned and experienced people to fill some of these vacancies. If they decide to get a new manager, get a manager who's been around a while. Mattingly has managed a couple of teams. He's been a bench coach. He's been a hitting coach. He's played in New York. I think he's the guy most suited. I think he's the right guy to kind of lead a group of young men. I think that, if you replace the hitting coach, you should bring in somebody who's been a hitting coach before for a while, not a first-time hitting coach. I don't think they're going to replace Matt Blake. I think they like what Matt Blake's doing. I like what Matt Blake's doing. Obviously, we've had some issues, but I think that's more related to the team is just beaten up and done at this point than it is Matt Blake. The bullpen was pretty good for most of the season. Starting pitching has had some issues. He's been unable to fix Luis Severino, but we don't know if Luis Severino's even fixable. I guess we'll find out next year when he signs with the Rays or the Dodgers. If he wins 20 games, we'll know.
Game over, man. Game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Miguel Peralta thinks Hal is bringing back the same squad next year. Would not surprise me.
You gotta go.
And Israel Urbina says Joe Madden for manager. I love Joe Madden. And Joe Madden is featured heavily in that Yogi Berra documentary, It Ain't Over, that I was telling you about. Another tough day for the Yanks. They have lost 8 in a row. At some point, this losing streak will end. Hopefully, it's on Tuesday with Carlos Rodon on the mound. And I will be here. I will see you then. I'm thinking, as we slowly get more and more wiped off the face of the earth here in this next month or so, about just turning this podcast into Monday through Friday and just taking my weekends back a little bit early because this team is not going anywhere. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But hopefully we'll get a win at some point. Can't keep losing forever. I'll see you next time.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.